Good morning and welcome back to Planet Althistory. Today we are going to discuss what if dolphins possessed human intelligence. Dolphins are considered to be one of the smartest animals on our planet. They may not possess human intelligence in our timeline, but they are smart nonetheless. Like humans, however, dolphins have the ability to change their surroundings, solve problems, and form complex social groups. This is nothing really surprising, but it is already more than other animals can accomplish. As everybody knows, dolphins are mammals and thus possess an advantage compared to fishes and other oceanic creatures. Dolphins communicate in many different ways. They use their body language or nonverbal communication, but also some type of verbal communication, if we can call it like that, when they make click sounds, whistle sounds, and other similar sounds. They are not only social with their own kind, but also with other animals or even humans. In 2005, an important discovery had been made in Australia. Scientists found that dolphins actually teach their offsprings how to use tools. In this particular case, the mother taught to her daughter how to use sponges to protect their snouts while foraging. But dolphins can also be aggressive, and there are some fights between dolphins, and sometimes dolphins engage in infanticide or kill porpoises for not fully understood reasons. When looking at the dolphins, we can clearly see a huge difference between them and between us. Dolphins haven't built what we define as civilizations, what we define as technological advancements, and their bodies, they are also not really adapted in a suitable way to make civilizations possible. The ocean or rivers are problematic when it comes to the creation of something as important as fire, for instance. But, in this alternate history, let's just ignore all of this. Let's just imagine a world where all of that changed. What if dolphins possessed human intelligence? Let's assume that dolphins would become, at around the same time, as intelligent as humans and also our forefathers, and they would make similar discoveries or advancements over a span of millions and thousands of years, just as humans. Of course, the dolphins may not be able to get fire, but hey, who says that you need to get fire in order to advance? And other things we humans take as measurement to see whether a life form is intelligent or whether life could evolve and many more things, they are also very flawed, because we are basically the only ones that are so far intelligent, and we cannot really take us as only example to compare us with other hypothetical life forms. So this is a very flawed concept when sometimes scientists tell us, oh yeah, we need to look for water deposits, or we need to look for tools, or we need to look for fire and stuff like this. Because other kinds of intelligent life forms, they may evolve in different ways. So let's take this as basic argument of why suddenly the dolphins become intelligent. If dolphins were as intelligent as humans, they would adapt in different ways, of course. And I think that dolphins, for the most part, they would stay nomadic and live a nomadic lifestyle at first and eat fish, for instance. Probably down the line they would manipulate more tools, for instance sticks, or they could also, for instance, make different stuff with the sticks, and they would also pass it over not only to their daughters and the female dolphins, but also to the male dolphins. I believe that the female dolphins, just as the women in our prehistoric time, they may possess similar roles due to pregnancy, for instance, but it would increase the chances that the offsprings would survive and thus the community would grow. One problem I can see happening is that of farming or something similar to farming, if we can call it that way. Perhaps some dolphins would start living around rivers, mangroves, or marshes. In there, they could use the trees or plants, for instance, to build nets, or they could build dams to isolate some fishes or to grow seaweed and similar stuff. This means that some dolphins would also become guardians who would protect these sea farms from other dolphins. The males would thus become warriors and not hunters anymore. Also, some of the dolphins would then become something akin to farmers, where they would get an understanding how certain fishes would work, what their natural inhabitat is, what they are eating. And we might even see different fishes appearing due to domestication. Shelter may not be necessary, or perhaps it may be necessary, because at the end the dolphins, they are living in the water and it is not known whether they really need to have a shelter or not. And anyway, they live in a big community, and perhaps if they are choosing to have these sea farms, we may see also an adaptation in their behavior, and they could actually build something similar to houses or dig deeper into the sea. The language of the dolphins would also change accordingly to which functions they would have, which lifestyle, and many more influences. I don't think that dolphins would build similar structures as humans, but it's possible that dolphins may also invent their own culture and have their own arts even. Later down the line, also education would appear, because the river and oceanic system would constantly change, and dolphins, they would wonder why the sea levels rise during the day or during the night, or why are they rising in a specific time of the year, and why they go down, about the sun, about the moon, about the surface, many more things where they would really try to understand their environment. If dolphins are able to have state structures, I think these structures, they may look similar to city-states of the Indus Valley, for instance, where there wouldn't be a clear ruler, but where people hypothesized that there was some form of, well, maybe not primitive communism, but of a very collectivist society. Yes, this talk about primitive communism, I think this is just not possible, so let's better take collectivism as word for their behavior, because dolphins are very social, and if they get a human form of intelligence, well, they might even become very collectivist in their own societies. Now, here comes the more interesting question: how would dolphins and humans interact with each other? Well, I think that dolphins could have a curious reaction, whereas humans, well, in there it's a bit more ambiguous. Some may react with horror and even kill the poor dolphins, while others may overcome their fear and start some type of relation with the dolphins. The ones with a good relation might trade seaweed, fishes, shells, and other resources from the sea and even the deep sea, and they would give dolphins perhaps some tools, weapons, or even food that they grow on the land. While some humans may react in horror and even kill some dolphins, I don't think that humans would wage a war and drive dolphins to extinction. No. First of all, most humans, they couldn't swim. Second of all, humans can populate the oceans. And third of all, fighting the dolphins in the sea during a serious war. This would just be a death sentence to humans, especially in the early years. Will humans and dolphins find a common language or understand each other? Maybe, but not through spoken words, but rather through signs or body language. Or they would use a similar thing as the Carthaginian traders did when they traded with people from sub-Saharan Africa, where they would put a good, let's say, on the beach, then the other people, they would come, they would put some gold, the Carthaginian traders, they came back, and if the amount of gold was very good for them, they would just take the gold and leave the goods, and if it wasn't enough, then they would just go back to the boat until the natives gave enough gold for them to take. Humans and dolphins could share also some technology and knowledge, and it is even entirely possible that peoples like Carthaginians or the Polynesians would rely on trade with dolphins and actually expand further beyond. The dolphins would have a lot of knowledge after all of the oceans, and this could benefit and connect the whole world much faster. At the same time, some humans would have legends about fishermen or mermaids, and human culture too would change in unpredictable ways. I mean, imagine you can trade with a dolphin and the dolphin pretty much understands what you're about to do. Maybe some dolphin gods would exist in certain countries, certain legends, while dolphins could have human gods. That's entirely possible, because humans would be these mystical creatures who could walk on land, who don't need to be in the water, but they still breathe the same air. At some point, we could find ideologies that would promote dolphin and human cooperation, and even co-living with them, while other ideologies would promote separation, isolation, or even extermination. At the end, I don't think that these extremes would be successful. Why? Because dolphins and humans would never compete for the same areas. There would be a mutual agreement where the oceans would belong to the dolphins while humans would possess all the lands. And while some people may actually think that this is something they couldn't agree with, I would like to tell them that humans would never be able to live in the oceans. Yes, they could perhaps fish some fishes and get some other stuff off the oceans, maybe use it only as one way to get to another point, but that's about it. And even if the dolphins wouldn't like it, that humans would use one certain route, well, the dolphins are also not able to control all the ocean, because the ocean has over 70% of the surface of Earth. And even we humans nowadays, with our modern technology, we aren't able to control all the land. I mean, we see it every day with failed states, like Somalia, for instance. Once humans would colonize and go further beyond the space, well, this may entirely change the whole situation in favor of humans, because the dolphins would not be able to get out of the water with technology like rockets, for instance. Perhaps they find something else and they may actually get the edge over us, but then again, it's also entirely possible that they would lose in that part. How would these dolphins react and what would happen next? And that's where we leave it for now. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, support me also on Patreon, and join my forum, forum.planetalthistory.ga. Until next time on Planet Alt History.